They'll get you good out of them. Do I hear that in form of a motion?
Make motion.
Okay, Mr. Moore made the motion,
Second.
second by Mr. Duncan. Any questions? Discussions? Any objections? No objections, motion carries.
you,
Item
Mr.
B,
Cole.
consider approval of the bid for 2019-15 for the sale of timber. Mr. Tesby.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We recommend awarding the bid to Bradley Reed at the highest bid. And we have Mr. Royce Allen here from Advanced Forestry, our consultant, if you have any questions on it.
All right, first of all, do we hear that in form of a motion?
I'll make motion.
Mr. Moore,
Second.
second by Mr. Duncan. Questions?
Yep. Since we have him here, if he could just kind of walk us all through what we're doing and the process, since we do have, I don't know if we've done a timber thing since the new board's been elected.
We've done a couple of thinnings, but go ahead, Royce.
This particular thinning is about 80 acres in the Lewiston area, the North Tangipahoa Parish block. And it was planted approximately 14 years ago and genetically improved loblolly. And this will be the first thinning. The price is a little lower than what we have received in the past for our thinnings, but this is more of a biological decision than a financial decision. And what I mean by that is there's a point when trees are planted that they become growing close together and they become suppressed, and it's a time that they need to be thinned. So that's why I recommend it, even though the price is a little low, that for the health of the stand of the investment, that it's time to thin.
Would we see that price go up if we waited till the winter? Since it is on the hilly land and easy to get in?
Mr. Peter was just having that discussion. The dry weather has basically blocked out the mills. They have all the pulpwood, chip and saw, saw timber that they need. So a lot of these contracts they're working on now have been 12 months. They've had the contract for 12 months. So I don't think the price would affect, the winter time would not affect this price very much. For one main reason, this track is about 3/4 of a mile from the nearest public road. The access is not great to it. There's a road to it, but the access is not great. So they're going to have to invest a little bit to get completely onto this 80-acre block.
Any other questions? Any objections?
One
All right, go ahead.
question. Does the motion include replanting once the harvest?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you say.
Does the proposal, does it include replanting after the harvest?
This is not a complete harvest. This is just a thinning, so there will be trees left to grow for future harvest. So there's no.
Okay, so there's already sufficient a number of trees there?
Right. What typically you have about 300 surviving at about age 14. We try to thin them back to about 160 well-spaced trees that can grow to the future to become a better product that you can advertise in the winter and have a better price on. So this is just like an initial first thinning to keep the trees growing tall and bigger in diameter.
Okay, and we're confident that it's not going to damage some of the other younger trees by harvesting the larger ones?
They're all the same size.
They're all the same
They're
size.
genetically improved, so when you look at them, they're pretty much all have grown.
Okay.
The same height, the same width,
Okay,
diameter.
yeah, so minimal damage,
So
right?
you do have some scarring, skinning, but I grade them on about a 10%. If they fall under 10% of any kind of damage, then it's a passing grade. So typically, about 5% is what they actually do. They do a better job than what I ask.
But once again, this is to give us more down the road whenever we harvest the timber later. Gives the current timber a chance to grow stronger and larger. So.
Royce, do you identify the trees they're taking out?
It's called an operator select. They choose their own method of how to do it. What I do is monitor that they have done what I have asked them to do, what the contract says. In all honesty, those guys can do it better than if I went out and marked the trees to leave. They do it every day, 6 days a week, so.
All right, any objections? Hearing no objections, motion carries. Thank you, Royce. Any more business to be brought before Finance Committee? Hearing none, Meeting adjourned.